The stench of ozone and ionized blood still clung to my armor when I collected the bounty. 3 Xylarite scouts, each worth 20,000 credits. Easy money. Too easy. Maybe. But when you're running on empty and the rent on your docking bay is 3 months overdue, you don't ask questions. You pull the trigger. I found them on the fringe of the Charon Belt, hiding in the wreckage of a derelict transport. They were young ones no older than a human teenager. If Xylarites aged like us, their carapaces hadn't even hardened fully. I told myself that didn't matter. In the belt, it's kill or starve. The first one never saw me. A single plasma bolt through its ocular ridge. The second one screamed a high-pitched clicking sound that vibrated right through my helmet speakers before I punched a hole in its thorax. The third one tried to run. But my ship's targeting systems are better than any Xylarite legs. I watched it tumble through the debris field, limbs curling inward like a dying spider. 20,000 each. 60,000 total. The Colonial Bounty Office wired the credits before I even docked at Port Ishtar. That night, I celebrated alone. A bottle of synthetic whiskey, a hot meal that wasn't ration paste, and the first full night of sleep I'd had in weeks. I didn't dream about the clicking screams. I told myself that meant I was fine. I was wrong. She came the next morning. I was in the middle of my pre-flight checklist when the proximity alarm blared. Someone was at my airlock. No ship had hailed me. No docking request had been filed. Just a single figure standing in the vacuum, pressure-suited and waiting. My hand drifted to the sidearm strapped under my console. I keyed the external camera and zoomed in. The suit was sleek black carbon weave with silver filaments that pulsed like veins. The helmet was opaque, but the silhouette beneath suggested a woman. Average height, slender build, no visible weapons. I opened the airlocks. She stepped inside without a word. The outer door cycled. Atmosphere flooded the chamber, and she removed her helmet with a slow, deliberate motion. Her face was human. That was the first thing I noticed. Pale skin, dark eyes, full lips pressed into a line that wasn't quite a frown. Black hair cropped short against her scalp. She looked like she could have been anyone's neighbor back on Earth, except for the way she moved fluid. Predatory, like she'd spent her whole life walking on surfaces that weren't floors. You are Kaylin Voss, she said. Not a question. Who's asking? My name is Sephra. She stepped closer, and I caught a whiff of something cold and sharp ozone. Again, but different from what clung to my armor. Fresher. Cleaner. You killed 3 Xylarite juveniles yesterday. In the Charon Belt. My jaw tightened. Bounty was legal. Colonial jurisdiction. If you were here to shake me down for some kind of interspecies lawsuit, you can file a claim with the... I am not here for a lawsuit. She interrupted. Her voice was calm, almost gentle. That made it worse. I am here to claim you. The air in the cockpit suddenly felt thin. I pulled the sidearm and leveled it at her chest. Back up. Now. She didn't flinch. Didn't even look at the guns. Her dark eyes stayed locked on mine. And for the first time, I noticed something strange about them. The pupils weren't round. They were vertical slits, like a cat's. And when she blinked, a second eyelid swept across from the side. You killed 3 juveniles, she said again. What you did not know is that they were not feral. They were not rogue. They were mine. Yours. I am a breeder mother of the Xylarite Compact. Those 3 were my offspring. They had become curious about human space, a common developmental phase, and I permitted them to explore. I did not permit you to slaughter them. My finger tightened on the trigger. Then you should have taught them not to trespass in the Charon Belt. That's raider territory. Any ship that goes in there without escort is fair game. Sephra tilted her head. The gesture was so human, so disarming, that I almost lowered the guns. Almost. In my culture, she said, when a life is taken, A life is owed, not as punishment, as balance. The compact does not believe in revenge. We believe in restitution. She reached into a pouch on her belt and withdrew a small disc black metal. Humming with an inner light. You killed 3 of my children. Therefore, 3 lives are owed to me. You will serve me for 3 years. That is the law. I am not serving anyone. I snarled. I am a bounty hunter, not a slave. You are whatever I say you are. She pressed the disc against the bulkhead, and it adhered like a magnet. Then she spoke a single word in a language that made my teeth ache. The disc split open. Light poured out goldens. Warm. Utterly wrong in the cold metal corridor of my ship. And from that light stepped 2 more figures. They looked like humans too. At first. Then they opened their mouths. And I saw the rows of needle-thin teeth. These are my enforcers. Sephra said, they will not harm you unless you resist. But I suggest you do not resist. My gun was still in my hand. I could shoot her. I could shoot all of them. But the way those enforcers were looking at me like I was already theirs made my finger go numb. You have no legal standing in human space, I said, trying to keep my voice steady. The Colonial Bounty Office disagrees. She pulled a datapad from her suit and tossed it at my feet. The screen glowed with a legal seal official. Authenticated. Stamped with the signature of the Port Ishtar magistrate. You accepted payment for killing sentient beings within a protected migration corridor. The compact has a standing extradition treaty with your colonies. By killing my children, you voided your own citizenship protections. You are, legally speaking, mine. I stared at the datapad, then at her, then at the 2 enforcers, who had begun to spread out, flanking me without a sound. For a long moment, no one moved. Then I lowered the guns. Sephra smiled. It was a small smile, almost sad. You made a choice yesterday. Kaylin Voss. You chose money over mercy. Now you must live with the consequences. She gestured toward the airlock. Your ship will be impounded. Your accounts will be frozen. You will come with me. And you will serve your 3 years. And if I run, then my enforcers will retrieve you. And the 3 years will begin again from 0 each time. She stepped aside, clearing the path to the airlock. Do not make this harder than it has to be. I looked at my ship, my rust bucket freighter. My home for 7 years. My only escape. Then I looked at the enforcers. Natal teeth. I walked. 3 years. That's what she said. 3 years of serving the creature whose children ID killed for 60,000 credits. As the airlock cycled and the cold of space seeped through my suit, I wondered if any amount of money would ever feel worth it again. Probably not. But I had plenty of time to find out.